Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our regular council meeting for May 16th, 2022. At this time, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional territories and the oral practices of the Blackfoot Nation, which include the Siksika, the Kainai, and the Piikani. We also acknowledge the Tsuut'ina, the Stoney Nakoda First Nations, the Métis Nation Region 3, and all people who make their homes in the Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta. We're making this acknowledgement to demonstrate our continuing efforts to work together as we strive for reconciliation through increased and collective learning. Good afternoon, everyone. We have some staff introductions. Richard Mack, the floor is yours.
So there's two staff introductions today. The first one is Janelle Marion. Janelle was the she has project management and event planning experience, and she recently was a program manager at SPEC. So today is her first day, and she's our program coordinator.
Welcome. And you have another one?
We do. And the second one is Nick Dewsbury. So Nick started with us on May 2nd. He's our economic development summer student. He's currently a student at Trinity Western University in BC. And a little fun fact, he does own and market his own clothing line. So, yeah. Congratulations.
And another one?
This actually only two today.
Only two today. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, moved by Councillor Nesbitt that the agenda be adopted. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Jessica that the minutes from the regular council meeting held May 2nd, 2022 be approved. Any questions? Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Idris that the April 2022 RCMP report be accepted as information. Staff Sergeant Yetman, welcome. Good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon, Mayor Petrie, council members. It's a pleasure to be back here before you today. So my purpose for being here today, as it is each and every month, is to give you an overview of our previous month's work and some of the things that our members did. So this is our May report, but we're going to be reflecting on statistics from April. So I'll get right into it here. April 2022, Brooks Detachment members responded to 383 municipal calls for service. A total of 12 prisoners were lodged in the detachment cells. There were 145 municipal criminal record checks completed, and a total of 58 violation tickets were issued within the city, and that's not including the if there were any enhanced traffic shifts or whatever done during that time. Some significant calls that we had on April 5th, while our members were at the scene of a domestic violence complaint, members arrested a female, and during a search incidental to that arrest, located a quantity of what is believed to be methamphetamine. So charges were laid against that female, and the matter is going to be proceeding through court. April 25th, 2022, Brooks RCMP received a call of an altercation occurring at a local campground involving several people. On arrival, our members located a male suffering from injuries consistent with the physical assault. The victim was treated at the scene by EMS. Members were able to locate the assailants and lay the appropriate charges. Those matters are currently before the courts as well. April 30th, 2022, Brooks RCMP members responded to a complaint of an altercation at a local establishment in which the male victim had been stabbed in the abdomen by an unknown assailant. Members arrived on scene and determined that the male suspect had fled. Through investigation, our members determined the identity of the male and a possible location for him. The victim was transported to hospital for treatment of his injuries. Members located the suspect at his residence, where he was taken into custody without incident. The suspect has been charged with aggravated assault as well as possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose. And again, charges laid, and that matter is before the courts. As for staffing, I'm happy to say that one of our two new corporals, Corporal Shelley Harrigan, has arrived, and she started working at the detachment. So we're very happy to have her and her experience here. So to just go and have a look at the crime gauge, we'll see that persons crimes, so this is January to April 2022 versus 2021. So we'll see that persons crimes has increased by about 14%, property crimes 21% increase, other criminal code matters have dropped by 50%. So as far as criminal code offenses go, we're seeing about a 3% decrease when compared to the same period last year. Property crimes, break and enter, we had 4 fewer incidents over last year, same time. Theft of motor vehicle, unfortunately, we have seen 54% increase, and theft under 5,000, 37% increase. Some of the things that we're tracking, some of the various crime types that we're tracking here, obviously, as you can see, theft of motor vehicle, pretty much everything up to minivans is an issue. Everything else after that is the norm, within the norms. Mail theft has been identified as an issue. We've seen an increase of 3 over last year, 0 last year, 3 this year. Mischief to property, as everybody's well aware, 82. That's been flagged as an issue, and well-being checks have been flagged as an issue as well, simply because we've gone from 30 from last year up to 44 this year. Well-being checks, as you're probably well aware, is something that's pretty much beyond our control. It's something that's usually called in by a third party wanting us to check on someone else. As far as traffic goes, the only thing that we've got flagged as an issue for traffic is speeding violations, which are up by 15%, or by 15, or up to 15, sorry. So that's the stats that I wanted to discuss. Are there any questions?
I have one, just, thefts were up there. What are people stealing? Everything?
It could be anything. I mean, thefts could be a shoplifting incident.
Oh, okay.
It could be theft from a motor vehicle. It could be stealing a lawn ornament off somebody's lawn.
Oh, okay.
So it's, yeah, literally any theft, either under or over $5,000.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead, Councilor Jessica.
Yeah, hello, Staff Sergeant. Yeah, so congratulations on the arrest and charging of an individual vandalizing a building with graffiti. I went down and had a look where it says Illume, and then it stops right there.
That's the moment he was arrested.
Yeah, so as has been, he was caught, but this has been ongoing. It's good to see something has happened. Unfortunately, since his release, the tagging in public and private property has been continuing pretty well nightly. And my understanding is that as a first offender, and you may not be able to comment on this or anything, but that he was released with none of the requested restrictions.
Correct. We had requested numerous restrictions, numerous conditions on him. And unfortunately, during the bail hearing, none of those were requested by the parties running the bail hearing. We don't run the bail hearings anymore. We used to, and we don't anymore because of some unfortunate incidents that occurred up near Edmonton a few years back.
So I guess we'll have to wait and see, which I'm sure everyone, especially yourselves at the RCMP, find very frustrating.
We haven't stopped what we're doing just because of the arrest, just so you're aware.
Yeah, so hopefully, I just have a couple of questions, I guess. So in May 6th to 9th activity report, there were 3 graffiti incidents reported.
Right.
And people are being encouraged to file these reports.
They are.
So has the detachment been receiving more of these reports since the 9th, and will this help?
I don't believe we've been receiving a lot more reports. For whatever reason, people don't want to report these. And unfortunately, I think a lot of it has to do with what we're seeing on social media. That's taken on a life of its own, full of misinformation. And I don't know how people are becoming so misinformed, but we're not seeing the number of reports we should be seeing.
Yeah, there's, I would estimate 6 to 7 a night average of varying size and complexity. So, so rather than depending on individual complaints, would a daily listing of the previous night's damages and locations be more helpful in tracking and catching the vandal again?
Not really. We know that it's happening. We do. And we find out about it through various means in the morning. Our members go over, they have a look at it. Usually it's somebody that's not related to the property that's phoning in and saying, hey, somebody got tagged along the back alley. And the members go over. We generate a file on all of them, but we may not necessarily have a victim per se. We may have a complainant, but not necessarily a victim.
But and he does have patterns and actually more of a routine, so.
Not anymore.
Well, this last night he went through Nine Ludor and then headed past the Carriage Lane townhouses again, I think behind the alley from Bill Prentice.
Is somebody still following him?
Not so much, no.
Okay.
But he goes out in the morning to see, and I've been taking pictures to him, like lose track of which ones are new ones and which ones are old ones if you don't keep
Right.
some kind of a record, so.
And I mean, to be honest with you, I'm sure we've had people calling in reporting old vandalism, you know.
So, yeah, and that could certainly be a problem, because there's a lot out there, but, so he had moved north of, just south of Fairview Drive into that area, and then before that, he was heading south on the east side of downtown, south of the junior high school, so he's been sort of working in that area, but so since being caught has had no effect, and we still don't know what's going to happen at court either, of course. But, you know, are more arrests and convictions needed to result in a more serious charge and penalties?
Yes.
So the tagging has been altered with most messages being shorter and smaller printing. He's getting a little bit sloppier too. So less time is being spent committing the offenses. He has also quit with the paper signs.
Correct.
So this would make it harder to get a police response resulting in being caught in the act, because the act is of a shorter duration. Is there some way to streamline the reporting process of something as it's happening through a phone number or email so local detachment can respond more quickly?
Well, we need a phone call. If somebody is witnessing this happening, we have to get a phone call at the time.
But this would be at night,
Yeah.
most of the time.
Our
There's some
members work
speculation.
24
that
hours a day, 7 days a week.
But then it goes through Red Deer.
Cannot
Just-
change that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so where do we go from here?
Phone it in. When it's happening, it has to be phoned in. You know, worst case scenario, our members get the call 10 minutes after it's happened, or 15 or whatever. They can still go out to that area, and maybe that will give them a place to basically pick up his trail, right? We need to be called when these things are happening. You know, to see snide comments on social media doesn't help the investigation. Like, social media has been no help to this investigation whatsoever. We essentially need to hear from people when it's happening. Phone the complaint line, and we will attend to it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And I just want to make clear too, because I think you guys get a lot of heat and we get a lot of heat for the bail hearing.
Right.
System there, because a lot of people think that you let them go without conditions. A lot of people
Absolutely
think
not.
the city councilors have let them go without conditions.
Right.
You don't have anything to do with that bail hearing, neither do we.
No.
So if somebody wants to change something, maybe that's what we have to
Yeah.
look at then on that. But there were reasons, because it was the first offense on that there too. So we're
And we
hop-
have pushed back on that, just so you're aware.
Oh, okay.
With the Crown's office, we've pushed back, and we've since entered into some other conversations with Crown about how to proceed, so.
And we're hoping, you know, with the court case coming up next week, that maybe, you know, the issue will be solved. That's what we're looking for there, so. Good.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, regardless of what happens at that court.
Yeah.
I mean, we're still going to be working on this. So just because he's being charged doesn't mean that we've given up investigating.
Right.
So,
And I know you guys have been very, very busy, so I thank you for your
yes.
work in this case and all the other cases in, around the Brooks area.
And that's why I took the liberty of providing that additional document there,
yeah.
so.
Okay, anything else in your police report you want to mention, or
No, actually, I think that that's pretty much it.
any other questions? Oh, Counselor Idris. He's
Thank
got a
you.
time delay. He's in Saudi Arabia. He's got a time delay.
Okay, thank you very much. So just a couple questions, and I'm going to just put all the, I think I have 3 questions and I just put them all and then maybe you can address those. So I don't know if you can share with us, but did you receive a call for the last arrest? Did you receive a call while it's happening in sharing that could be something that the public will hear and will say, you know what, that time it worked and it could work again? That's the first question. A second question I have is around like after that arrest, did you think or did you request maybe a search for the house, and did you receive that? Did you receive that? And I'm asking about this because I'm thinking about does the search maybe show that there is plans, there is more papers, more paint, more things at home? And then my last question is actually regarding the comment that you mentioned about bail hearing. I know it's not a Brooks issue, it's more than that, but is there anything that municipal council can do to help? Is there some sort of a policy that we can push? Is there some sort of an advocacy role that we can play to help you with that? Thank you.
Thank you. First part of my answer will be, we did not get a call from anybody when we arrested him. That was 100% our members that were conducting surveillance, along with, I believe we had a CPO out with us that night. So that was our members and a community peace officer. We had no help from the public whatsoever with that one on that particular night. As far as a search of his house goes, we were able to basically have a look in an area of the house frequented by him, and that's really all I can leave right there. And part 3, bail hearings. Bail hearings these days and the bail hearing process, I think is a source of frustration for many people, most of all the police. So I think if there's anything at the municipal level that could be done, I think it would be to reach out provincially and express your displeasure. I mean, if you're not pleased with how things are going. I think that's probably the best form of recourse that anybody has. Like I said, when the gentleman was released without any of the conditions that we had recommended, we reached out to the Crown Prosecutor on that and expressed our displeasure. So I hope that answers your question, sir.
It does. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Councillor Wardrop?
This is more of a comment than a question, but I would just like to take this opportunity to appeal to all concerned citizens of Brooks to please call the RCMP, because Ms. Gord Getman has said this time and time again. What we need to do is to actually call. So even if they get there 5-10 minutes later, whatever, please call instead of publicly complaining on social media. We all want to see this come to a conclusion that benefits everybody. And so I would just really appeal to everybody in Brooks, can we please work together, call the RCMP, and hopefully that we can bring this to a conclusion and help out the RCMP, and the RCMP is trying to help us out too. So that's just my little bit, and I hope that whoever's listening, please spread the word too. It's a topic of conversation that anecdotally I hear. I think all of us around the table here too. If we can shift that conversation to please be productive, call the RCMP. If you don't know the complaint line, call 911. Even if you have to go through dispatch, it's better than just leaving it until the morning and the RCMP kind of have to start back at square one in the morning. So yes, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good point. Thanks for your time this afternoon, Sergeant Yetman. Yeah.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Good. Okay, to the motion there. Moved by Councillor Idris that the April 2022 RCMP report be accepted as information. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Prentice that the Brooks Housing Society land donation request presentation be accepted as information. And, oh, yeah. Mr. Radke, if you want to come forward here.
Thanks. Thanks, Mayor and councilors. You received our letter with regard to, I guess, a partnership and some type of donation or whatever use of land for the Brooks Housing Society. So we've been thinking about building for a while. We've participated in the Brooks Affordable Housing Strategy discussions over the last couple of years. We've been tracking our applications and demand, and we believe there's a demand for additional housing, particularly some units with larger number of bedrooms. We also feel that we're in a position from an operational point of view to move forward in this. We think we have a sustainable business model in the Brooks Housing Society where we can proceed with this if we get a partnership with the city for land. The City of Brooks has been an exceptional partner for us since first construction and second construction in terms of lease agreements on land, and been very supportive. And recently with the playground, we have an agreement with the city on that, so we really appreciate the support of the city. So anyhow, we'd like to move ahead. For us, gaining some indication or support or whatever for land is the first domino for us. Once we have some indication that we have land available, then we can move forward in terms of looking for other financing through Alberta Seniors and Housing or CMHC, and also eventually possibly a mortgage on our own. But land is the first domino for us to proceed. You can see in the presentation, I think that you all have, and I don't know if there's any questions. I could certainly answer them, and then I don't know if you need any more information at this point.
Any questions? How many units do you plan to build?
We're not really sure. I guess that'll depend on design and cost, but we'd like to see, you know, whether that's 10 or 14 or 16. You know, in here it says, I think about 10, but, you know, that will certainly depend on design and cost. You know, we don't know that exactly. One of the things that we'll do is if we can obtain support for the city for land, probably our next step is moving towards the design phase and costing. We think that there's funding available for us to secure that, hopefully even in terms of a grant from the ministry or CMHC to do that initial design work. Once we know we have the agreement on land, we know the size then, and we can start designing and fit to that property and maximize the number of units that we could put in there. So I don't know exactly.
And you probably can't answer my next question. When do you think it would be done? You don't have to answer that.
Realistically, you know, it's certainly into next year.
Okay, yeah. And my third one is, obviously there's a major need in the community. I don't think you'd have any problem filling those up.
No, we've been tracking applications and demand, and we certainly feel there is a demand.
Okay. Oh, Councilor Nesbitt?
I understand you're full all the time anyways, correct?
Yes,
And there's a waiting list of people to get in there.
yes,
Yes, so this is something that is
yeah, and
drastically needed.
and the waiting list is all our eligible applications, and we mean by that is that we have to operate on our rent by income threshold set by the province. So all these applications that we track the eligible application, we receive more than what is eligible, but definitely there's a need from our point of view.
Okay, thank you. Councilor Woodrup?
Just a point of clarification, if you could. That you think you'll get started at the end of next year, or you'll be done by the end of next year? Just hoping.
I guess finished by next year.
Oh,
Certainly the process, you know, we have put a lot of things in place, which I'm sure you can appreciate. But if we can do all the design, financing application in place, approval, and have all that ready for a tender package this fall, it would, I think, would be realistic for construction possibly in the spring.
And you anticipate being fully funded and all of the finances will be ready to go in?
We don't, fully funded. Certainly, we're going to look for as much grant money and low interest rate financing, and we may have to look at a mortgage in addition to top that out, but we feel we can do that.
Thank you.
Okay. Other question? Oh, Councilor Jessica.
Yeah, so just, I keep hearing over and over again, that there's a need for places with more capacity or bedrooms in the community. And here you show income thresholds for 4 bedrooms, but not rent for more than 3 bedrooms. Do you have any 4-bedroom units, and or is this a direction we're moving in?
Yes. We only put that there in terms of the 4+ bedroom, just to give you an idea right now what the income threshold that is set by the province at that level. But no, we do not have any 4 bedrooms.
Okay. Thanks for your work with the Brooks Housing Society and the other volunteers, you know, that are involved too. Yeah, we've had a good relationship. The city has had a good relationship with you, you guys, and I know we'll continue to do it. And I know this is important for the city of Brooks because we do need housing and accommodation there too. So thank you for your time there. So
You're welcome, and certainly if you need more information in terms of your deliberation decision, please let us know.
okay, yeah. Oh, Councilor Idris,
Just
sorry.
a point. Okay, just again, couple questions. One, like I'm looking at the map, and like what this land that is 531 Meadowbrook Drive East. Which one is that one? Is it the one? Is it the whole big one that is on the opposite to your property now, or?
I don't know if you have the map in front of you, but it's where the blue X is.
Okay, the blue axis. There are lots of blue. Okay, and do you have an idea? Okay, I have this other one now because the one in the package is a different.
It's, if I can describe it, but it's bound by, would border the women's shelter, the roadway across from the Francophone
Okay,
school.
okay, now I see it. Now I see it.
Okay.
Okay, like on behalf of the city, like I know we have been talking about affordable housing and things like that in our strategic planning, you know, as well as we do have a policy that was developed by the city on housing, and I think maybe we can explore different options and work together. So I support your intention and would love to hear a little bit more about it in how it could be done and what else besides just the land we could help with, whether it is coordination, whether it's a partnership, so that if there is proposals through the same JSC, it could be better taken. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, certainly any additional support from the city would be appreciated, and I guess I would make the commitment that as we proceed, we would try to keep the city informed, and if there's some additional support we need, we'll come and ask. But yeah, certainly I think it's fair to provide design and cost and as much information as we can to the city as we proceed.
Yeah, that'd be appreciated there. Okay, thank you, Reg. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank
here,
you.
too. Okay, to the motion. All those in favor? Carried. Yeah, time is perfect here. It's 5 o'clock. I was going to say it's 5 o'clock somewhere. It's 5 o'clock, and I want to call this public hearing to order. for lane closure bylaw 2210. Alicia, if you want to explain the proposed bylaw.
Yes, thank you, through the chair to mayor and council. In March of this year, council approved the city to subdivide and transfer land behind the new Francophone school. The land is to be utilized as a soccer field, and therefore the laneway that currently exists legally but has not been constructed is no longer required by the city. Prior to the subdivision of the land for the soccer field, the city can close the existing laneway and join it to the parcel, which would be subdivided. Therefore, the proposed bylaw has been circulated to the utility companies and adjacent landowners. The public notice was also given, must also be given, and a public hearing held prior to the passing of the bylaw on Tuesday, April 26th. Altalink, Fortis, TELUS, ATCO Limited, and ATCO Gas were all given notices regarding the lane closure. The only adjacent property owners are the City of Brooks and the Francophone School, so we have notified the school. The public notice was posted on the city's website and included in the Brooks Bulletin on May 4th and May 11th. At the time of writing the report, and since then, we have not received any concerns or comments regarding the lane closure. Therefore, staff recommends that council give for first, second, and third reading and adopt bylaw 2210.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any person speaking in favor of the proposed bylaw? I see none. Any person speaking in opposition of the proposed bylaw? I see none. Your final comments?
No final comments.
Okay, I adjourn the hearing at 5:03. Thank you. Okay, moved by Councillor Wardrop that the Village of Dutchess 2022 Alberta Municipalities Convention Resolution Seconder Request Presentation be accepted as information. Deborah Reed-Mickler, if you want to come to the mic, please.
Sorry, we tend to be low tech. Thank you, Mayor Petrie. Thank you, city councillors. You have the resolution that I submitted and a little bit of background information. The reason this came about, we had some meetings. We've got a bit of an issue right now in the village. Had some meetings, and MP Martin Shields is advocating on our behalf, and I'd taken it to Alberta municipalities because they currently do not have an active resolution on their books. RMA and FCM both have at least 2, possibly more by the fall. And I guess it's one of those things that be careful what you ask for, because when I asked for it, I got told, well, there's the piece of paper, please put it forward. So we drafted our resolution. We are proposing it, and we will respectfully ask that the City of Brooks second our resolution in September.
Okay, any questions? I was under the assumption that we were only allowed 4 marijuana plants or cannabis plants.
That's a really good question, Mayor Petrie. That is for personal use, and this is the loophole that in essence has been created in that if you have a medical certificate for an amount of marijuana, you can grow up to the number of plants for that prescription. And I think when this first came out, a lot of people were under the impression that it was, I've spoken to a lot of people informally, and they say, well, it's about a dozen or 20. It can be as high as 497 plants, depending on what prescription you've been given. You can also grow for one other person who is in possession of a certificate. So you can potentially have well over 500 plants in a residential dwelling. We get no notification from the federal government. They will not share that information. You'll see as part of the resolution, there's some background that we asked for sharing 2 years ago. Their response was that municipalities have bylaws that they can enact. There's not a lot of good in enacting those bylaws if you don't know where these residences are. So in effect, you don't know where they are until you have a problem. And so then you're in a position as having to react. And we also feel that it's unfair for the federal government to download that responsibility for compensating for the gaps in their rules and regulations.
Okay, and again, it's, we take it to AUMA, and then their goal would be to take it to FCM or at the federal side then.
Yeah, it's FCM already have 3 resolutions, but this gives a unified voice from the entire province, and we think that's very powerful. And I've spoken to FCM, and they are totally in agreement. They would like another resolution or more, because it just gives them more voice in Ottawa to try and get changes made.
Okay. Any questions? Any other questions? And it comes up on our council agenda later today here too. So thank you for your time this afternoon. Yeah, and
Thank
good
you
luck with
very much
everything.
for hearing us.
Okay, to the motion. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Idris that the Brooks Region Economic Development Strategic Plan 2022 to 2025 presentation be accepted as information. Mitch Iwasa.
Great, thank you. I'd like to thank you for inviting me to present to Council today on the work of the Economic Development Department of the Brooks Region, and to give you a summary of the Economic Development Strategic Plan that was recently approved by the Joint Services Committee, and the work plan we will be following to implement it. Then we'll present to you the review of the Brooks Region brand, as requested by Joint Services, and the options that were presented for approval. Finally, we'll give you an overview of some of the projects we're currently working on and exciting opportunities that we hope will benefit the Brooks region. The Strategic Economic Development Plan is a 3-year plan that was recently approved by the Joint Services Committee, and it lays out the strategy and work plan for the Brooks Region Economic Development Department through 2024. The plan will focus on a number of areas: business retention and expansion, workforce development, marketing, and tourism. The business retention and expansion will create a formal BRE plan, and that'll include performing surveys regularly, creating a welcome and aftercare program for new businesses, and to perform exit interviews where possible. Some of the business supports and programs offered with partner organizations, where possible, will include digitization assistance, entrepreneur education, succession planning, using of the Newell Proud logo and brand as a Shop Local program, business spotlights through our social media and website, business beautification loans and grants, and other programs such as the Power Up Conference, New Grow, and other mentorship programs. As well, we'll be looking at a business-to-business networking sessions, which we've already started through our business-to-business breakfasts, supported by Apex Alberta and Community Futures and the Chamber of Commerce. And from there, we'll look at different programs and themes at each of the sessions that we'll discuss within the business community. Next, we'll look at our workforce development. We'll be looking at implementing the recommendations from the workforce development strategy, which was developed by the department. We'll create a workforce development consortium to jointly address and move the strategy forward. We'll expose young people to the opportunities that exist in the region. We'll look at upskill programs to upskill and reskill opportunities for workers, and keep promoting entrepreneurship and cultivating an entrepreneurial culture. Also, we'll be looking at tracking ongoing vacancies, gaps, and skill gaps with local workers. One of the major focuses right now is veterinary attraction and retention. We'll also assist businesses and organizations where appropriate on problematic vacancies, and work with local education bodies to help educate, to develop education and training programs to fill those gaps. Going hand in hand, of course, with workforce development and bringing in new workforce is monitoring housing, and some of the work that Newell Housing is doing as well. But we'll be looking at monitoring housing availability and make recommendations to municipal partners if issues arise. Another area of workforce development that's important to our community right now is physician, and on an ongoing basis, is physician attraction and retention. We'll explore different ways to attractive physicians, including but not limited to one clinic model. One of the more exciting programs that we have in the workforce in the strategic plan was the Alberta Immigration Program. Part of the strategic plan was to apply for both of the programs, which we have done, and just recently received notification that we've been approved for both the Alberta Rural Renewal Stream as well as the Rural Entrepreneur Stream, which are both exciting and very encouraging programs for our community. Also part of our planning will be the marketing side of it. We'll be looking at website updating, statistics that keeping up to date and relevant, and links to our partners as well. Partners as well. We'll also look at ongoing investment attraction efforts. We'll gauge our investment readiness, have relevant information available for site selectors and investment inquiries, and marketing of local assets, such as our BrooksNet fiber optic system and rural connectivity, as well as the county water project. Also through our marketing, part of it, which we'll discuss a little bit later, is our rebranding and renaming. There was a desire through joint services that was expressed for a stronger representation of the County of Newell in the name and the logo. So we'll be looking at different logo alterations and taglines. As well, there will be, part of our marketing will be promoting a bit of a culture shift in our community. We'll share a narrative that develops and expands a positive view of our community and gain traction to support growth and development. And finally, tourism. Tourism being a large part of our economic development as well. There are plans to look at ways to improve the tourism facilities throughout the community, including Lake Newell, which is one of our largest tourist attractions. There's been a desire for more camping in the area, recreational opportunities, and experiences for tourists and residents. And of course, that leads into the Kinbrook Connection pathway, the pathway from the County of Newell office out to Kinbrook Island Provincial Park, which is going along well. We received our initial engineering designs, and they'll be looking to start construction of that this year. So that's sort of the strategic plan and that side of the workforce development. So I don't know if there's any questions on that before I move on to the brand strategy.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Next, then, I'll just move on to this proposal was brought up at Joint Services to look at a way of studying the brand and if there's a way to increase the exposure of the County of Newell. We look first at the sort of initial study and development of the brand from 2018 and sort of the goals of that brand strategy. And you can see the 5 different goals of the brand strategy. To position the brand, our brand positions separates us from our competition and communicates our value to target audiences. Our value proposition distills our position in the world into a message for potential residents and investors. Our mission is how we work and how we realize our vision every day. Our mission is clear. And the purpose, our brand purpose is our reason for being. We will leverage our position to attract new residents and investors to the region, to grow our economy and keep it strong and healthy for future generations. And then finally, our vision. Our brand vision is what we want to achieve as stewards of the Brooks region. It is the outcome of our mission and our purpose. So what we presented at Joint Services last week were these 3 options. The first option essentially being the status quo, staying with the brand as is. The second option was recommended or brought up at our strategic planning session. It would keep the tagline, but change it to Newell Proud. And then the third option would be a total changing of the name to a Brooks Newell region, giving equal balance to Brooks and Newell. Upon request of the Joint Services Committee, and in keeping with the work plan set out in our strategic plan, The Economic Development Department has provided these three options. For the branding of the marketing collateral related to the business retention, expansion, and investment attraction in the region. The brand is used to provide a recognizable image that allows us to reach our target audience that includes a cross-section of people and organizations with different aims. Those looking for new business locations, that includes site selectors and corporate executives, economic development agencies, local alliances and partnerships, targeted industries, as well as the potential within the media and with existing residents. We feel that option B, the Brooks Region Newell Proud, provides the best combination of brand recognition and consistency while acknowledging the important place of the County of Newell within the region. In addition, it is a direct link to our Newell Proud branded Facebook page, which is our strongest social media platform. It receives the largest number of engagements, and it is our key connection to local businesses while providing a valuable link to viewers outside our region. Importantly, this option also allows us to maintain our website and social media following that have been built up over the last several years. We'd be able to maintain our current URL, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn profiles while developing a new Brooks Region Newell Proud Instagram following. All digital platforms will receive the new branding within the next couple weeks, and if approved, and all future collateral printed with the logo will include the new brand. Therefore, the Economic Development Department recommended to Joint Services that they approve option B of the branding options presented. There was a slight modification from the original design. The Newell Proud was brought up a little bit bolder and larger within that logo as well. So, I don't know if there's any questions on the brand strategy.
Okay. Thank you. If you can bring up the logo, just go through the symbolism on what the logo means, because there's probably a lot of people that don't, I can't remember, but I thought it was very creative and unique at that time, but just go through the symbolism of the logo, if you
You're going
remember
to test me
on
now
that.
because I wasn't here at that time either, but
Oh.
I have read it. So,
okay.
So what you've got there within the logo itself is sort of a representation of our region. You've got a representation of the aqueduct, I believe, on the left side. You see some what you could describe as grain, and then the North Star, the point of interest is the Brooks region, and sort of pointing to that star of positivity and potential, and a blue sky.
And I guess the blue would be water too, eh?
Could be, yes.
Yeah. Where's the oil in there?
Well, good question. Oh, that's a smokestack.
Okay,
There you go.
okay, I got it. Okay.
Thanks.
Just now, does this go back to Joint Services then?
So we will be doing a similar presentation to County Council. County Council, or the county representatives on the Joint Services Committee asked that it be taken to County Council for them to approve. But we thought we should bring it to City Council as well for your thoughts and input as well. But again, that'll go back through Joint Services, so your representatives on the Joint Service Committee can
Okay,
voice
any
that.
questions? Councilor Wardrop. Oh, sorry, Councilor Jessica, I think, was ahead of you there. Yeah.
So this came up a little bit at an economic development workshop we had earlier on in my term here, and kind of ties in the relationship between the city and the county, which is hopefully is quite strong, and we kind of need to keep it. And I'd certainly like to keep it that way. And my understanding was that one of their concerns was that they're contributing to this financially, but not getting a whole lot of recognition in the logo. And so, I'm just wondering where the second option is still focused very much on Brooks. And then also, where do the other municipalities fit in? So Dutchess, Rosemary, Bassano, are they all contributors, or is it just really the city and the county?
Well, I'll answer your second question first. So the county and the city are equal contributors to the Joint Services. The municipalities do not contribute financially. However, they do have a voting position on the Joint Services Committee, one position each. And I believe the county and the city each have 3. So that's to that extent. In terms of the branding, when we look at the branding and what the brand was designed to do, it is, we like to call it sort of an outward-facing brand. It is marketing us outside our area. It is to site selectors, potential residents, and the media as well. What they found through the initial study for the branding was that in terms of recognition, the name Brooks or the city of Brooks is far more recognizable throughout the province, throughout the country, than the County of Newell. People aren't as aware of the County of Newell. So Brooks, and then the word region was meant to encompass the whole area, not just the city of Brooks. I mean, the brand doesn't include the word city of Brooks. It is not the term city of Brooks. It is Brooks and the region, and that is the focus of that. Within that too, the brand, going back to the recognition outside the area is part of it. If you look through the branding documents, through all the websites and social media, it's always Brooks region. It doesn't say City of Brooks or County of Newell necessarily, or Bazzano or Rosemary, although those communities are all featured within that, but the branding itself is all Brooks region. It's designed to have a singular point that people can recognize and discuss. Interestingly enough, we were just at the EDA conference, and we were having one discussion with a person from the County of Minburn, and we were having this ongoing conversation and asked where it was, and he sort of described it's next to Beaver County. And then still wasn't sure where Minburn were, and then he said Vegreville. I said, oh, okay, well, I know where Vegreville is. So that's part of the point, and really, again, it's designed to be sort of out there, so people can see Brooks region and know where it's at, sort of off the top of their head.
Councillor Wardrop?
Just really quick, I know you mentioned it, Mitch, I think I missed it though. Which is the final design, the one that we have or the one that was up there?
So the final design hasn't been approved yet.
Oh, okay, the
So
one that you're recommending though,
the
is it?
recommendation is the one that you see,
One that's
option
up there.
B, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Oh, Councillor Prentice.
You're talking about these highway signs again, the county. Are you looking at trying to get them to a pull-off area? Or are you just gonna put signs up, you blow by at 110 again? Like you got a place west of Brooks here, where there is a pull-off. Would you try and utilize that with big signs where people can pull off and look at the signs and some information on it, or what are you looking at? Because it's just an ordinary roadside sign. It's not very, doesn't do very much really, except as a sign saying Brooks. So
And
I'm
I
just
think,
wondering where you're gonna go with that, because I think you gotta should have a pull-off, and there is some that could be utilized that area, but I was wondering what you're looking at.
I think that is part of the work plan. We really haven't started that process of looking at the signage and how that'll work. I know Mayor Petrie has had some suggestions with regard to the recognition for the city of Brooks in itself. But again, this would be more of a Brooks regional sort of promotion. Yeah, we haven't really started that process yet, but that will definitely be something that we will consider.
Councillor Idris, did you have a question?
Yes. So is the recommendation now your recommendation or joint services? So where I'm going with this is that, let's say we go ahead now and the city recommends option B, and then we go back to joint services again, and county councillors come and say, no, we didn't like that, and is this a joint services recommendation or economic development recommendation? And what do you feel is the group going at joint services?
The recommendation is from the Economic Development Department to Joint Services. It'll be up to Joint Services, obviously, to make that a decision. Again, the county will be looking at this same proposal recommendation on Thursday, and they will have their input.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you, Mitch, for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.
Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, moved by Counselor Woodruff that the following items of correspondence be received as information updates on council conferences and workshops and council committee reports and accounts payable listings. So we'll start off with the council committee reports, and I'll start with Counselor Jessica on that one there for your committees. Go ahead.
Well, it's been a while since I've had the pleasure of going through this, so I will start over. Oh, yes, get right down to it. So the Southern Alberta Energy from Waste Association was successful in getting a substantial grant from the province to move forward on the project to develop a regional waste energy plant to be sited at the Newell Regional Landfill. I believe it's about $220,000. So it was about $70,000 of that will be going to the engineers to assess the three proposals for the project. And those three proposals came from Covanta, which owns and operates many of the waste energy plants in the U.S., from the company that operates the Swan Hills plant, and also from Hitachi. So these are major proposals to finance, design, build, and operate a waste energy plant in the area. Once the proposal is selected, still need to work out transportation to the site and confirm the waste quantities, and then go back to the member municipalities and see if they're prepared to commit their waste to this project. And at that point, if they are, then it will go ahead, and if they're not, then it will probably go in the back in the file folder for the next attempt. So Eco Brooks has been pretty active. They did have a booth in the trade show and was quite active. There were 125 entries in the draws, and which many of the people didn't enter, just stopped to talk, and they had a display for kids to see on surface runoff pollution. So it was quite successful. They've been spending a lot of time working on the Edible Garden project, which is to, again, have an open public garden area at the south end of Lake Stafford. A meeting was met there with interested people to do some planning, and the area has been expanded, and its initial thoughts been given into what to be planting, and that will be coming up shortly. The city did bring out one of the tree trunks from one of the large dead trees that was knocked down in the EID or Evergreen Park, and made it into a bench and a planter. So that came out quite nicely. And EcoBrooks did approach joint services about regionalizing, because the goals of EcoBrooks are common, should be the common goals for all the municipalities within the county of Newell. And so that's in the works as well, hopefully. The Sign Committee, we did have a short meeting here the other day, and one of the things we were looking at was some requests for speed zones in an area that has some blocked vision. There's a sign that makes it a little bit difficult to see turning onto the main streets. So some fairly routine things there. Communities in Bloom, the city is proceeding with taking over the Rose Garden, or maintenance and operation of the Rose Garden, with assistance from Communities in Bloom. So they do have their own rose specialist, and he will continue to work with the city. So that will give the project a little bit of continuity and more resources for the maintenance end of it. And then the butterfly garden around the gazebo is part of that. They are putting out birdhouses in recognition of the 10 years that Communities in Bloom has been in existence. And they have also approached joint services, regionalizing the goals of Communities in Bloom throughout the area, and focusing. One of the things that Communities in Bloom does is promote some of the more attractive portions of an area, in this, up till now, the city of Brooks, locally and nationally and even internationally. And there are places of interest outside the city of Brooks that would benefit from the same thing. So that's what they're hoping to accomplish there. There was a short airport committee meeting, and one of the things we did discuss there was potential for some fuel sales, jet fuel. They are selling regular airplane fuel, high-octane fuel right now, and generates some revenue, and apparently there's some interest and probably demand for jet fuel for primarily helicopters. So that was discussed a little bit as a revenue source. And then there are some membership issues. I think we need another body, or may need another body depending on things go. And the museum, everything seems to be going well. Their reserves, they actually have come through COVID very well. And the transition from Jerry Bander to replacement is ongoing as her replacement takes training to act as a curator, and she's been doing very well at that. The decision was made not to have the full meal deal for Canada Day this year. In the past, they've had a lot of the help, and financial and physical help came from service groups as well as council. And they felt that with what the JBS is doing with the city over at the adjacent park, that they are still going ahead getting the Canada cakes, and they will donate them to that event to be distributed there. But in the meantime, at the museum, they will still have the tractor parade and the open house and some of the things that they've done in the past. And I think that's covers it.
Thank you, Councillor Jessica. Okay, Councillor Woodruff.
Thank you. Okay, for the Newell Housing Association highlights here, we went on a property tour in April, the entire board. So that included all of our community housing units, as well as the Newbrook Lodge, the Pioneer Villas, Dr. Scott Apartments, the Villas in Dutchess, Rosemary, and Tilly, and the Playfair Lodge. It was a great experience. The board got to see some firsthand knowledge and understanding about the needs and wants of residents that use our community housing units and our villas. And as well, it kind of gave us a firsthand experience of maybe seeing some potential issues for the future that we could work on. And it was also nice to meet a few residents as well. One exciting possibility that we are looking into on the board is the potential for hospice care at the Newbrook Lodge. There's a lot of energy and interest and excitement around this potential project. This is an area that we see a need in our community. Personally, it speaks to me and many others on the board who've had a loved one pass away, and it would be nice to offer a comfortable, family-friendly environment to offer that service in. Vacancies continue to be I should just add that hopefully we see that project come to fruition. There's still a lot of work to be done, and it's just in the beginning stages, but we are hoping to see something come of that. Vacancies continue to be to trend, at the Newbrook Lodge. There will be an upcoming radio ad campaign in the near future to hopefully stir up interest in the area. Hopefully you can fill some more vacancies there. Also received word from Minister Pon that the government will be providing $3.7 million to 113 housing providers that have been experiencing rising utility costs since December 2021. Hopefully we'll be hearing back soon about the amount that we can expect to receive. A resident named the lodge as a beneficiary of $10,000, a little over $10,000, and the tentative plan for that money is to enhance the outdoor seating in the front of the Newbrook Lodge, potentially a gazebo or something nice like that. And that's about it for Newell Housing. Newell 911 did have a brief meeting. We got a presentation on the next gen 911 system that I mentioned last time. So we got some more details on that. It was also noted that it might be useful for the city and the county to have that presentation as well, so that we could learn about any implications that there may be for our local governments. In the FCSS board, a couple highlights: the quality of life survey has now been completed. The results will be entered into the same database as 2018 results, and the analysis will begin shortly. Again, this information is valuable for community planning, applying for grants, and assisting us in taking, appropriate and effective actions to enhance services here in Brooks and the County of Newell. We've been getting presentations from our funded partners at the beginning of every meeting. And so we got a presentation by the Brooks and District Seniors Outreach Society, and they told us more about the details of what they do, the social supports, Meals on Wheels, for example, and home cleaning, and that was informative. We also got presentations by the Grassland School Prevention and Education Program and the Child Development Society, which was fantastic. Personally, I saw those things come home in my daughter's backpack, and so that was fantastic to see the real world effects of a wonderful program like that, educating our children and keeping them safe. And also the Child Development Society has seen us a few times at the Brooks Toy Library. Go check them out if you haven't, they're fantastic. Also the Global Village, their pilot of the John Ware Youth Empowerment and Engagement Program has begun. FCSS is on the advisory committee for that. It launched on February 28th. It's a very exciting program, basically designed to help young people and young adults in our community find a career path, develop life skills and skills that they can use to then follow their dream career. And it's all individualized. They've brought in the first group of people, of young people, and so far I hear it's going really well. And then our annual general meeting is coming up in May. Okay, and for the Parks and Rec Department, let's see. Don't want to steal all of John's thunder over here. A delegation from the Brooks Alliance Church presented to us on March 16th. They're interested in contributing to the improvement of the basketball courts at Duke of Sutherland Park. Again, that is in the early stages, but we're hoping that that comes to fruition. Very generous offer, and it's great to see members of our community come forward and work together to improve our community and our recreation options, particularly for our youth. Meadowbrook Park is just about to begin construction. They're on Meadowbrook, what is that? Anyway, Meadowbrook Park. The construction is starting any second now. And so we're looking forward to that. We did submit an intent to bid letter to the Alberta 55 Plus Association to host the 2023 or 2025 Summer Games. So hopefully we hear back about that. There was a subcommittee that reviewed the recreation rates and fees. Let's see. The fees went up by 0% over 2020 and 2021 and have increased a modest 2.75% overall for 2021-2022. We're very fortunate to offer a bunch of diverse services for very fair prices. We still, compared to communities our size, we're still extremely competitive and one of the lowest prices that you could get out there. And we're very conscious of the demographic that we serve, so that was really fantastic to see. We also received $151,000 in grant funding for lighting projects at the JBS Canada Centre and the CRA. That will include money for underwater lighting at the pool, and those will be eventually converted to LED lights. I don't think I'm missing anything. Oh, the aquatics, there's the ongoing issue of being short-staffed, and we saw that particularly last month. Even though we seem to be on the other side of COVID and there are essentially no restrictions at the JBS Canada Centre, there's still a masking requirement for people who have unfortunately come down with COVID and are back to work, and so that really limits the staff at the pool. But our staff were working really hard to recruit and to recruit and to promote people so that we have a full staff at the pool. So we're hoping that make some headway there. I don't know, John, I think that's all I have there, and John can fill in anything that I missed. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Nesbitt with your report, sir.
That was my report. Mr. Mayor, fellow guests, my wife, I'll try to continue on what was not read, but some of it may be repetitious. And although we haven't received a report on how to fix the skateboard facilities, the concrete cracking in the east side of town, the worst case scenario would be to tear it down and build a new one. And if that's the case, I would personally like to see it relocated to the old rodeo grounds, along with a BMX park right there, plenty of room. There's a skateboard park builder will schedule a meeting in the coming weeks with ideas for long-term solutions for this skateboard park if we can't fix it. All parks and summer employees have been hired, and a new garbage can will be installed to the northeast side of Lake Stafford, right beside the bench that was put in last year. Hopefully, this will cut down on the refuse that gets blown all over on a windy day. And quite frankly, that may not seem like a big thing, but the garbage that blows around that pathway around the lake is unbelievable. So seeing a garbage can there, no one has an excuse not to use it. On the recreation side, updates are given at every meeting. In comparison, Brooks is still the most economical when it comes to using the facilities at a recreation center. And price increases were kept to a very minimal this year. When compared to 11 other communities with comparable assets, Brooks is still noted as giving the best price for all water, skating, or gym fees. Personally, I found that the closer you are to larger centers, the price goes up for the use of their facilities, such as Okotoks or High River. The Red Cross has decided they are no longer involved with swimming activities by the end of this year, and it will be replaced by Life Saving Society. Some levels will have name changes, but the overall courses will remain the same in cost and instruction. We applied for the 223-225 Alberta 55+ summer games, and even though there are many applicants, we are very secure in the knowledge that we have the facilities needed of being a great contender to host this major event in the middle of August. And I'll say something you never said. Our manager of recreation services, Randy McPhillips, has done a more than complete communication regarding all rates and fees associated with recreational sports at the recreation center. I know it was hard to keep us kindergarten kids in line picking out all these prices. Now I'll go to the Shortgrass Library System. It was a pleasure to have Petra Marinohoff, our CEO, give a briefing to Brooks City Council last month. It's always good to get positive information from the top. This municipality-based service is governed by the independent boards with an emphasis on local needs and local autonomy. The role of the Shortgrass Library System is to have a centralized purchasing and cataloging, etc., for all the libraries that are encompassed in this area. IT infrastructure and support and training and consultation as well. The board recognizes that library system employees and board trustees should not incur travel costs when traveling on behalf of the library system. The policy manual was updated to 2022 standards, or 2022, excuse me, with updated information on cost per kilometer, which is now 55 cents, and if gas keeps going up, I can see that raising as well. And updated information on kilometer distances to each area from Medicine Hat. They made standard figures for each distance they had to travel. In our Brooks Public Library, board members are asked to come up with a way to grow our membership. Although our numbers are not low, it's always a good idea to not only keep what you already have, but to come up with new ways to increase the volume. As far as free memberships are concerned, we would have to come up with an idea how we could recoup that loss. And I know that we're in the bottom 25% of libraries that still do have a membership fee. It's not a substantial volume, though. Local sponsors or a small increase to other services fees were brought up but not passed. It's just an ongoing conversation till we come up with a solution. We've discussed all policy forums from the chair to board members. Of the 16 points for an effective board member, I scored 15. I'll keep my 1 point failure to myself. And our new resources management policy has been brought to the board with changes made to update our policies and passed. And that is my report. Thank you. Any questions?
Yeah, thank you very much. Councilor Nesbitt, any questions? Okay, I'm going to go back to the motion. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, moved by Councilor Jessica that the 2022 Quarter 1 Municipal Enforcement Report be accepted as information. Amy?
Thank you. Through the chair to mayor and council. For outreach and education for municipal enforcement, car seat clinics continue to be held, and one officer was recertified as a car seat technician as well as recertified in first aid. All officers and administration participated in training for Smart Squad, the city's e-ticketing program, which was launched in February. Members participated in Safe Communities Committee videos when required, and they continue to work with the RCMP Community Policing Unit on various PR initiatives. Municipal enforcement spent an estimated total of 400 hours on traffic enforcement during the quarter. Violations issued include Class 7 drivers, AGLC violations including impaired drivers, and speeding. An estimated 380 hours have been spent on parking enforcement, proactive patrols, and other bylaw enforcement files or citizen complaints. There was an estimated 140 hours spent on animal control bylaw enforcement, and BAP's financial information is attached for your information. CPO Pete Thompson retired, and the department has hired someone to fill that position, and that someone is Mark Brandt, who will be away at CPO training starting next week, so he will be officially announced once he receives that training. And the department also received a new CPO vehicle as part of the city's equipment replacement program. The stats for quarter 1 are attached, and if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions? I have a comment there, and I think Councillor Nesbitt kind of brought up littering, and that's been a beef there too. I don't know how the bylaw officers, because I mean, it's kind of like graffiti, you know, it's out there, and unless you see somebody in the act, it's almost impossible to get. But there are areas of the community, and I know the other way to get around that is the unsightly premises bylaw that we have there too. But it would be kind of nice if there was a way to solve that problem. I know it's a big problem, big issue there, but I think maybe education would be maybe more in line with that. But I don't know if you have a comment on that.
Through the chair to Mayor Petrie. Yes, unfortunately, to issue a ticket for littering, one of the officers would have to witness it, and really who's going to litter when an officer is standing right there? But you are correct. In our community standards bylaw, if there is a large amount of garbage on a property, they can follow the process for that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Oh, Councilor Prentice.
Just wondering, since you put that new system in for dog license online, has that made any difference in the amount of people, or is it pretty well quotas?
Through the chair to Councillor Prentice, in the information that BAPS provided us for quarter 1, it was down, the revenue was down. However, the March amount was not included in that. So I would have to go back and look at the March amount, but we do still allow people to come in and pay here at City Hall as well. So if they don't want to use the online system, they can still come here and pay as well.
Okay, thank you. Okay, to the, Councilor Jessica.
Yeah, just to go a bit further on unsightly yard bylaw. So that is one thing that's come up multiple times in my discussions with people, including at the trade show. And I have promoted Newell Connect as a really good way to get things done. So is that the best mechanism if a person has a complaint about an unsightly yard? Now, on the other hand, if all the information is there about who's complaining about your yard, that might not be all that good either. So
Through the chair to Councillor Jessica, people can definitely report on the Newell Connect app. There is an option to remain anonymous, so your username or email or anything doesn't show up. If they'd prefer to call in, they can call into the fire hall, speak with the admin assistant there, or directly to one of the officers if they're available, or they can call City Hall and speak to me as well. So there are multiple options.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, moved by Councilor Prentice that Council accept the 2022 Canada Day celebration update as information. Natasha.
Thank you. Through the chair to mayor and council, the city of Brooks has a proud tradition of providing an excellent Canada Day celebration for all members of the community to celebrate Canada's rich heritage. The celebration typically consists of a range of entertainment and hospitality options such as a movie, professional acts, music, inflatables, fireworks, a free barbecue lunch, and much more. Staff continue to work on plans for the 2022 Canada Day celebration and intend to bring back past traditions with the aid of the Celebrate Canada Day grant, in-kind donations from local partners, and sponsorships from local businesses, helping to make this event possible. We look forward to the 2022 Canada Day celebration in Brooks and hope to see both City Council and members of the community in attendance. Therefore, administration recommends that Council accept the 2022 Canada Day celebration update as information.
Okay, any questions? I think it's great that it's coming back, you know, and finally, whatever, I think after a couple of years, it's always well attended. Nice to see the museum partaking, not with the pancake breakfast. I know that that's a little difficult this year too, but they'll be open for that too. And the other nice thing about it is Canada Day is on a Friday, which is a long weekend, which it should be every year. But that's another issue I'm working on. I don't know if I'll get that done in my lifetime either there too. Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you, Natasha. Okay, moved by Councilor Nesbitt that June 2022 be hereby proclaimed Recreation and Parks Month in the City of Brooks. Natasha again.
Thank you. Through the chair to mayor and council, the Alberta Recreation and Parks Association has recognized June as Recreation and Parks Month, JRPM, for the past 20 years to recognize and acknowledge recreation and parks across Alberta. Recreation and parks enrich the quality of life for individuals, families, and communities. They enhance individual health and promote positive lifestyles, help people live happier and longer, and develop skills for positive self-image and creativity. They also build family unity and social capital, strengthen volunteer and community development, enhance social interactions, create community pride and vitality, and ensure ecological sustainability, help boost the economy and assist the economic recovery, and promote the sensitivity and understanding to cultural diversity. Lots of benefits there. Community spaces have been highlighted for the important role they play in providing venues for physical and mental health. ARPA has a number of activities planned for the JRPM that include the theme #CelebrateJRPM, as focuses will be on discovering and celebrating the benefits of recreation and parks, with another social media contest being facilitated this year. More information will be available on the ARPA website beginning May 18th, 2022. In addition, the local Community Choose Well Committee will be promoting a Get Active Bingo and the benefits of active transportation to encourage community members to get outside and to be active. Information and resources are available on the Brooks Choose Well social media outlet. Citizens of Brooks are encouraged to visit and enjoy the many local recreation and parks amenities located in the Brooks region throughout the month of June in celebration of JRPM. The recommendation is that council proclaim the month of June as Recreation and Park Month in the City of Brooks.
Okay, any questions? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you, Natasha. Okay, moved by Councilor Nesbitt that June 6th to the 12th, 2022 be hereby proclaimed as Seniors Week in the City of Brooks. Richard.
Thank you. Through the chair to mayor and council, June 6th to June 12th is Seniors Appreciation Week in the province of Alberta. Seniors make a difference in our communities every day, from volunteering their time in helping families and friends, or even volunteering their time helping out charities. Seniors are deeply involved in our communities, and the contributions benefit Albertans of all ages. Every year, Albertans are encouraged to join the festivities by attending one of the Seniors Week's events held across Alberta. The City of Brooks is proud to partner with Bad Company Bar and Grill to host a bunch buffet on June 6th, approximately 11:30 to 2 p.m. On this day, seniors will also receive a free entry into the JBS Canada Centre, and the handy bus service will be offering free rides all day to senior citizens. Our participation in the City of Brooks Seniors Week will help highlight and show appreciation for the seniors in our community. Therefore, administration is recommending that June 6th to June 12th, 2022 be formally recognized as Seniors Week in the City of Brooks.
Any questions?
So,
Councilor Jessica.
since there are benefits, and John and Bill and I fit in that category, is it a conflict of interest if we vote for it?
Could be, but you might be able to take in advantage of the free buffet. Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Okay. Moved by Councilor Prentice that May 30th to June 3rd, 2022 be hereby proclaimed as Alberta Rural Health Week in the city of Brooks. And Mitch is going to do this one, okay.
Yes, and unfortunately, Nick had prior engagement he had to go away for. So through the chair to mayor and council, the Brooks Region Economic Development Team is encouraging our partner municipalities to take part in Alberta Rural Health Week 2022, which will be taking place May 30th to June 3rd. As we all know, it has been made even more evident over the span of the previous few years, Alberta's rural health efforts are a foundational component to keeping the community safe, healthy, and secure. They create jobs, bring in volunteers, provide services province-wide, and are a vital part in every smiling rural community across Alberta. Alberta Rural Health Week is a designated week in which healthcare workers residing in clinics and hospitals across rural Alberta are lifted up by their communities to show support and recognize their countless hours of commitment to their fellow citizens and neighbors. Recognition may look like signs and cards of appreciation, baked goods, food platters, balloon or flower bouquets, as well as endorsing the RPAP hashtag Rural Health Matters. RPAP also highlights the celebration as an opportunity to bring attention to rural health organizations and workplaces to attract more health professionals to the area. Brooks Region Economic Development staff will be showing gratitude to all of the medical clinics, hospitals, EMS, fire departments, and RCMP detachments in the region by delivering a small token of our appreciation. We will also be taking photos and videos to post on our social media outlets. Therefore, the recommendation from Brooks Region is that Council proclaim May 30th to June 3rd, 2022 as Rural Health Week in the City of Brooks.
Any questions? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you, Mitch. Okay, moved by Councilor Wardrop that council donate 531 Meadowbrook Drive East to the Brooks Housing Society for the construction of an affordable housing development, and further that the transfer of land has provisions for the land to be returned to the city if the development does not commence within 2 years or as otherwise extended at the discretion of the city. Alan?
Thank you very much. Through the chair to mayor and council, as per the delegation, they are requesting the donation of 531 Meadowbrook Drive East. This is actually a 1.23 acre parcel. They've done a fantastic job with the facilities they've done so far, and we do know there's a need for larger apartments. So I think this project is fantastic, and it fits well within our affordable housing strategy. Hopefully there are grants out there for them. I know that there's many people on that board that have been there for a long time, and I know how dedicated they are because they sat through on that board with me on there for some time, so they're very dedicated. So the recommendation is that we donate that piece of land to them, and further that if they don't use it, that it be reverted back to the city of Brooks. Now, as the presenter noted, they have a lot of legwork to do before that happens, so we wouldn't transfer it right away. We want to make sure they get the opportunity to do that legwork so that they can get it constructed and up and running. But it'll be there, committed to them, and help them with their processes.
Okay, any questions? No, we had a great presentation from Reg Radke earlier there too that explained it all. Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councilor Jessica that the city donate 1516 and 1518 2nd Avenue East to Habitat for Humanity for construction of a duplex, and further that the transfer of land has a caveat that the build must occur within 2 years or the land be returned to the city. Who's this one here? Okay, Amy.
Thank you. Through the chair to mayor and council. In 2015, the city donated 2 lots on 2nd Avenue East to Habitat for Humanity to construct a duplex. Due to their budget constraints, construction was not started until recently, and currently a duplex is being constructed on 1520 and 1522 2nd Avenue East. 2 families have already been selected to occupy the homes, and completion and possession should be occurring this fall. Administration was recently contacted by Habitat regarding the possibility of another land donation at 1516 and 1518 2nd Avenue East to construct another duplex beginning in the spring of next year. The previous council discussed a similar request in 2021 when Habitat inquired about building a 4-plex. However, that discussion did not proceed any further once Habitat could not commit to building the 4-plex. Habitat has now confirmed their intention to construct another duplex. Administration is seeking council approval to proceed with their request. Therefore, administration is recommending that the city donate 1516 and 1518 2nd Avenue East to Habitat for Humanity for the construction of a duplex, and further that the transfer of land has a caveat that the build must occur within 2 years or the land is returned to the city.
Any questions? Councillor Wardrop.
I'm assuming the answer is going to be yes here, but is 2 years the quickest that this can, like 2 years is reasonable? Is it possible to go any faster than that? We just have such a great need for it.
Through the chair to Councillor Wardrop, I think the construction could happen within, or sooner than 2 years, sorry. Just the caveat would be that if it hasn't started by the 2-year timeline, then it would be returned back to the city. But it looks like they're hoping to start in spring of next year, so hopefully it would finish before that 2 years.
I think what it does is protect us as the city there, yeah. And we want to kind of encourage them to build instead of letting them sit on it for years and years and nothing happening on that, so yeah.
I'm just trying to rush, let's go.
No, I know, yeah.
Is this the fastest we can do
And
it?
I think they will, because I think they got a date of next spring, and so, okay.
Fantastic, thank you.
Yeah, we've had a good relationship with Habitat for Humanity, the city and Habitat for Humanity, and it is a good project. The, I was at the opening of the last one there, and the smiles on the buyers of the houses, just, I mean, it's huge, whatever. They're so excited to move into a place of their own there too, so, yeah. Okay, to the motion. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, moved by Councillor Idris that council approve the town of Didsbury's attraction and retention of veterinarians to small and mid-sized urban municipalities veterinary practice resolution, and furthermore, it seconds the town of Didsbury's motion to be presented at the 2022 Alberta Municipalities Convention. And that's Amanda.
Through the chair to mayor and council, the town of Didsbury is seeking a seconder for the attached resolution, which is there for your perusal, that they will be submitting to the 2022 Alberta Municipalities Convention. The resolution is asking that the Alberta municipalities agree to support attraction and retention actions by the University of Calgary Faculty of Veterinary Medicine, which I am going to refer going forward as UCVM, the Alberta Veterinarian Medical Association, otherwise known as ABVMA, and municipalities themselves to reduce veterinary professional shortages, especially in small to mid-sized urban municipalities that also serve rural regions in Alberta. And that the Alberta municipalities support veterinary education in Alberta and urge the government of Alberta to officially endorse new programs at UCVM that will help to alleviate the veterinary shortage crisis in small, mid-sized urban municipalities that also serve rural regions. The resolution is also asking that Alberta municipalities work with UCVM to expand the UCVM admissions committee and provide an ongoing basis a selected number of committee members who are located in and familiar with mid-sized urban municipalities in Alberta, and that Alberta municipalities work to examine and implement best practices to conduct outreach to recruit veterinary students and retain veterinary professionals who work and reside in small, mid-sized urban municipalities that serve rural regions in Alberta. Therefore, the recommendation is that council approve the town of Didsbury's attraction and retention of veterinarians to small, mid-sized urban municipalities veterinary practice resolution, and furthermore seconds the Town of Didsbury's motion to be presented at the 2022 Alberta Municipalities Convention.
Any questions? Okay, this is an issue that is reflective right across Alberta and across the country, and I believe also across North America there. So it's a good resolution to get behind there. So, okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Prentice that council approve the Village of Duchess's marijuana plant limits medical certificate for residential property resolutions, and furthermore seconds the Village of Duchess's motion to be presented at the 2022 Alberta Municipalities Convention. And Amanda.
Through the chair to Mayor and Council, the Village of Dutchess again is seeking a seconder for the attached resolution that the village will be submitting for the 2022 Alberta Municipalities Convention. Again, that resolution is asking that the Alberta municipalities agrees to advocate for the Government of Canada to amend medical marijuana regulations by placing a reasonable limit on the number of marijuana plants that can be grown in a residential property or within property located in a residential zoned district, preserving the health and safety of municipalities. Property is not subject to any safety code inspections or regulations, and both property owner and or resident are not obligated to notify the municipality to meet any basic standards of safety. In addition, there are no regulations to restrict a property to be located a reasonable distance from playgrounds, recreation centers, parks, and or schools. The Village of Dutchess is not opposed to a person having the ability to grow their own medicine or to grow marijuana plants in excess within a light industrial zoned area as indicated in their resolution. However, they do stipulate that this type of activity be done in accordance with municipal health and safety practices when located in a residential zone district. Therefore, the recommendation is that council approve the Village of Dutchess's marijuana plant limits medical certificate for residential properties resolution, and furthermore seconds the Village of Dutchess's motion to be presented at the 2022 Alberta Municipalities Convention.
Any questions? Okay, to the motion, all those, Councillor Wardrop.
Sorry, pardon me. You said something about having four resolutions, is that correct? Is there an amount of, a maximum amount of resolutions that we can have our name on or put forward?
No.
No, okay.
No.
Sorry, I'm not sure
I don't
what I
think so,
misunderstood there.
I believe he was referring to the number of plants that
Yeah.
could be within a residential property as
Yeah.
four.
Pardon me, thank
Okay,
you
yeah.
for that clarification.
Okay, yeah. Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried, yeah. Okay, moved by Councillor Wardrop that council authorize the execution of the Power Plus contract for the City of Brooks to participate in the Alberta Municipalities Power Plus program commencing January 1st, 2024. Alan?
Thank you once again. Through the chair to mayor and council, the city has participated in Alberta Municipalities Power and Gas aggregation services for several years. We benefit from both good commodity pricing by doing this and budgeting. They are now offering the Power Plus, and that's a 10-year procurement of electricity demand for participating municipalities, and they will be going directly to the power generators for this. They heard from their members that are looking for long-term budget stability, and people are aware of the challenges facing the energy industry. AM's Power Plus is the next evolution of energy services, structured to assist members in achieving cost savings and budget certainty. So this would give us the opportunity to lock in for 10 years. It gets the energy pricing right from the source, so we know that we're saving some money from intermediaries and kind of hedging a little bit against carbon cost increases. The carbon costs, you won't see that in your energy bills. Like on your gas bill, you'll see it separately, but you won't see it on your energy bills because it's part of that. So that'll be part of the procurement, so it'll be in that price. And if a lot of this electricity comes from gas-powered plants, there is significant carbon tax on that. In fact, in 2022, it's $2.62.9 per gigajoule, and April 1st of 2030, that is expected to be 8.925. So that's very significant. They're hoping to do a procurement and get in the neighborhood of about $60 per megawatt hours. Right now, our current rate is 51.65 per megawatt hour. So if they can do that, you know, that doesn't leave a whole lot of margin on the product. So if they don't get a price that they're not happy with, then they just won't enter into that contract. So there's some stability there. Again, the benefits are the long-term contracts result in budget stability, cost incurred from dealing with intermediaries are avoided, and there is a mitigating risk here of increased prices when generators are taken offline for maintenance, because then they'd have to provide that from somewhere else. So that would be up to them. And of course, the hedging on the future carbon pricing. They do have an administration fee that they charge, and it's 0.00315 per kilowatt hour with a minimum site fee of $20. Again, when we look at February 21st to January of 2022, we've saved $28,000 because we were in with the AMSC. And we've got to remember on this, unfortunately, it's only the commodity price. The distribution charges and the transmission charges are regulated, so we have really no control over that. But overall, I'd recommend that we authorize the execution of the Power Plus contract for the City of Brooks to participate in the program, which would commence January 1st, 2024.
Any questions? Yeah, a couple things. I mean, I always like securing that rate for 10 years. Secondly, I think even for the budgeting process, it would certainly make budgeting a lot easier. We're not going to be hit with an unexpected cost 5 years down the road if something goes wonky out there. So I'm in favor of this agreement here. Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Okay, moved by Councillor Jessica that the city become a member of the Intercity Forum on Social Policy, and further that Amy Romans, Manager, Administration, and Councillor Wardrop be appointed as the City of Brooks representatives. This one is Amy again.
Thank you. Through the chair to Mayor and Council, the city has been approached by the Intercity Forum on Social Policy, or ICFSP, to become a member and attend their meetings. The ICFSP consists of one elected official and one senior management representative from numerous cities across the province, and provides an opportunity for information sharing, networking, and advocacy. The purpose is to address social policy, program, and service issues that are a concern to Alberta urban municipalities. The cost of the membership is $500, and meetings are held 3 to 4 times per year from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. on a Friday, alternating between Edmonton or Leduc and Calgary. In 2021, the city was a member, and a member of staff, myself, and a past council member attended one meeting. They were previously held via Zoom, obviously during the pandemic. Therefore, administration is recommending that the city become a member of the Intercity Forum on Social Policy, and that myself and Councillor Wardrop be appointed as the City of Brooks representatives.
Any questions? Okay, to the motion, all those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Idris that bylaw number 2210, being a bylaw of the City of Brooks in the province of Alberta for the purpose of closing a laneway on the east side of Lot 1MR Block 5, Plan 051-2323 be introduced and read a first time. Are you up again there, Alicia?
I don't have anything to add. But
Okay. Okay, we'll go directly to the motion. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Councillor Nesbitt that bylaw number 2210 be read a second time. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Counselor Prentice that bylaw number 2210 be given 3 readings at this meeting, and it has to be carried unanimously. All those in favor? Carried. Moved by Counselor Wardrop that bylaw number 2210 being a bylaw of the City of Brooks in the province of Alberta for the purpose of closing a laneway on the east side of Lot 1MR Block 5, Plan 051-2323 be read a 3rd time and adopted. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, any questions from the media there? Sandra?
Hi, sorry. Good evening, everybody. A couple of questions I have, please, just regarding this bylaw, and I am going to apologize. Did this already go to the public?
We had the public meeting today, and it was also put out in the newspaper and circulated to the neighbors.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I had stepped out for a minute. For the Rural Health Week to provide gifts to first responders, is it just going to be Brooks? Is it Brooks? Is it the entire county? Is it to all first responders? Who is going to be paying, please?
We'll have Mitch.
And an estimated cost.
Mitch will answer this here for us.
So the gifts will be going to all the clinics and the EMS and the hospitals within the region, so including Bizano and the EMS stations throughout the region and the county, as well as the RCMP in Brooks and Bizano. They will be covered by joint services, and I do not have a cost for you, but I could find that out.
Have you got a rough cost?
No, I do not.
We'll find out for you, Sandra.
Thank you. My final question is, speaking of sitting on land for 2 years regarding caveats that people are asking about, where's the city with the NHA discussions, please?
We are in a legal process right now to get those lands back.
Okay, thanks, Sandra. Okay. Moved by Councillor Jessica that the meeting adjourn at 6:18 p.m. Okay, to the motion there, all those in favor on the adjournment. Okay, yeah. Yeah.